Hello, it's Sean. It's been a while since I've done an update, so I thought I would try something new tonight. I've got The Walking Dead All Out War, and I've been painting some models for it. I actually just got the two models done, and I thought I would video a little bit of painting a couple more guys. So, this is the guy I'm going to paint right now. I started on him, just did a gray primer coat on him. I use like an automotive primer. It's pretty cheap, but it works well. And then I did necrotic flesh, or excuse me, dead flesh of Vallejo color. And picked the skin out where the clothing is torn a little bit. I put that color in there, and now we can paint up the rest of him. I'm gonna paint his shoes brown. I'm a big zombie fan. I've always liked the zombie movies. Growing up, I watched the old school stuff, the Night of the Living Dead, old black and white stuff, and they've always been fun to watch. And now there seems to be zombies everywhere, which some people get annoyed. There's too many zombies. It's everywhere, which, whatever. Different strokes for different folks. I like them. I haven't watched all of the Walking Dead series. I'm a couple seasons behind, but I enjoy it. I've read some of the graphic novels of it, and it's pretty brutal, really, but it's enjoyable, I think. So when this miniature game came out, I didn't back the Kickstarter. Mantic has kind of had some not so great experiences so far, but I hear that this one has gone better. So my game store, my local game store, they backed it as a retailer and got some copies in. So I bought one of the retail copies from them. It's got a couple of the add-ons. It's a pack with additional heroes and one extra zombie. I think it comes with Michonne and Abraham and Negan, and that might be it. And then a zombie. I also went and got a couple of die-cast vehicles for my board. The little cardboard cutouts they give you are great, but I like a little bit more depth in my game, so I decided to mix it up a little bit and went ahead and bought those vehicles that'll get added to my board. I think we're going to give this guy black pants. Well, yeah, we'll just do black pants. Problem with black is you can't really highlight it that well, but I might tone it down a little bit with a gray after I paint it on. So I haven't done any videos, as I said, really for a while. I've been working on a lot of stuff, though. There's a Imperial Skies Kickstarter that was backed. It's an Aeronef game, which think period leading up to World War I and through World War I, but instead of battleships on the water, you've got battleships that fly through the air. I think there's openings for colonization of Mars, so you can have battles on on the surface of Mars, or above the surface of Mars, I guess, with your aeronefs, and really you can have them on Earth, on Mars, the transfer in between. You just have a lot of options there, so it'll be fun. So I've been painting up models for that, and actually here's a couple that I'm working on right now. This is a Turkish fleet. It's a dirigible. It's a very small class of ship, but got some of those working. That'll be for that. I've got some Germans and French and the Turkish fleet. So that's been fun. I look forward to trying that game out. I got my copy of the rules after the Kickstarter was done. Again, I didn't back that one, but I ordered the rules when they went on sale through Brigade Miniatures in the UK, and they got to me, and now I can paint my fleets and get some games into that. What else have I been doing? Started playing this game called Congo, which I made a video of. That's been kind of fun. My buddies and I are also doing a Saga campaign. That's Dark Ages battles, and playing Scots. I think we finished season 4. I guess we're in the middle of season 4. I'm done with my battles, and it's been fun. We tweaked the campaign rules a little bit. They're published in Age of the Wolf is the supplement for it, and we wanted to make sure we didn't have a whole ton of games. Just our group is not always have a ton of time to get together, so we did it so there's really only one game every season, and we're doing it once a month so folks can get their game in without having too much problem with too short a time to play their games. I think we're gonna plan to do it more like what the rules dictate for our next session, our next campaign of it. So that'll be a few more battles, but I think it'll just last longer to play through the campaign. Hope I'm getting this all in the camera. This is a new setup. I have a little microphone stand that I have my camera mounted to. Never done this before, so we'll see how the video is. Hopefully it's not too bad. I'm working on trying to get a new camera so that I have a little bit more options on how I could set up and stuff, but haven't thrown the money at it yet. Maybe I'll ask for it for Christmas from my wife. So I gotta say, these models are pretty nice. They've got some good detail. The zombies are walkers, I guess. You're not supposed to call them zombies because they never call them that in the show. I don't think that they call them that in the comic book either. They're always walkers or biters or whatever. Anyway, they're all very different. A lot of these other games that I have with the zombie miniatures, there's a little bit of variation, but there's a lot of duplicates, and these are all different. And I guess part of it is the base game only comes with 12 models, so it's easier to have all different models when you've only got 12 of them. Some of the other games like Zombicide, you've got a lot more models, so there's a little bit more duplication that goes on with that. Like I said, I'm a fan of zombies. I have Zombicide, the original game, just the first season. I never got any of the others. I've also have Zombicide Black Plague, which is the fantasy version of that, which is quite a bit of fun. I enjoyed playing it. Look forward to playing it some more. I recently got another one. I bought it used at a convention called Run, Fight, or Die, and it's kind of a dice game, the traditional Yahtzee mechanic kind of thing, which some people don't like. I've heard some not so great reviews about it, but I thought it was pretty fun. Pretty light game. We played it pretty quickly with my friends down at the game store. So that was pretty fun. There's a co-op expansion for it that I want to try with them. So with that co-op expansion, there's a set of cards that everybody is dealt one, and you're trying to basically accomplish some missions, and you have to complete so many based on how many players you have without everybody dying. So that looks kind of fun. And that one, again, I think in the base box of that there's 2 types of miniatures, a female zombie and a male zombie. They're all the same sculpt though. All the male ones are the same and all the female ones are the same. There's expansions that have some more different ones that actually have different rules for them. They have like a runner, somebody moves fast, and then a brute. I think it takes a little bit more damage to kill them. And then they have a crawler, which can appear closer to you, which is neat. And those give different sculpts, which actually you can throw those into the base game if you're only playing that, and you've got a little bit more variety in the models for when you're only playing the base game. Not that I'm really that worried about it, and I haven't painted those. I don't usually paint my board games. The one that I've spent the most time painting is Imperial Assault, the Star Wars Imperial Assault. And I'm not done with it by any means, but I've got a few of the models in that painted, and my plan is to finish painting them. There's a solo app that's going to be coming out for that game, so I guess it's not solo, it's co-op. So instead of having one player be the overlord, you've got the ability to have all the players actually playing together against the game, against the app. So there's not a me against everybody kind of mentality, because every time I've played it I've been the overlord, which is fine, but I like to play games too, so it'll be nice to get in with my group that plays it and all of us work together. And that Descent, they already have the app out for that, and it's been pretty well received from what I understand. So it'll be modeled after that. But for the Star Wars game, the other game that's similar, I guess, is that Mansions of Madness. Another Fantasy Flight game, but it uses an app as well, kind of along the same lines. So let's see, I think I'm gonna give this guy a bright orange shirt, because why not? This is a wet palette. If you've never seen one before, which I actually hadn't heard of them till, I don't know, maybe 6 months or a year ago. It's a sponge under there that you've got some water in, and then when you put your paint down on top, it helps to keep it moist, so you don't got to worry about your paint drying up as you're painting your models. And it actually works really well. Like I said, Only heard about it recently on some guy on his YouTube channel was talking about it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I built one from a plastic sandwich container. Used that for a while. I liked how it worked. So this is the Privateer Press wet palette. I got it off eBay for, I don't know, about 20 bucks. They're easy to make if you're into or don't want to buy one. Like I said, I just went and got a sandwich container, cut it down so it was shallow, and I used paper towel in it, wet that paper towel down, and then put a piece of parchment paper on top, and that helped keep my paints moist, and again, worked pretty well and didn't really cost much. This was different. The Privateer Press has their own paper that goes on them, so I'm not using the parchment. I'm not convinced I like their paper as much as I like just the regular parchment paper, but I thought I would just go ahead and use it for a while and see how it worked. Sometimes it's just a little bit of a learning curve to learn how the different stuff works. So when I first used it, I really didn't like it, but it's growing on me, the paper. Getting used to how the paint beads up on it and all that. So I don't know if this is just really boring. If people will be interested in seeing this kind of thing or not. I watch a variety of different videos on YouTube from the different people that I follow, and I've seen some videos on how people are painting their Walking Dead models, and most of them are just over my head. I want to paint a quick and dirty model, have it on the table. I'm not going to do 6 levels of highlighting and 3 levels of shading and whatever else people do. Those models look great, but they're just more work, more effort than I plan to put into it. So I thought it might be good to have just some basic old painting ideas that look decent, but they're not gonna take 12 hours to do per model, and you need 48 shades of any particular color. Of course, you could always mix your own, but my goal for a game for models is pretty much always I want to be able to set it on a table, take a step back, take a look at it. If it looks good at that point, then I'll call it good. Occasionally I do a little bit more detail. Those goblins and stuff that I painted for the Warboss Haze painting challenge, I did a little bit more detail on a lot of those than I normally do, but that was kind of a special thing, and probably won't be doing that level of detail again. And it was not even the level that most of what you see, because there was only a wash on everything, which I like washes. These will get a wash, and then a highlight, and some of it had 2 highlights, I guess, different parts of the model, but not everything did. Most of it was just 1. So you don't got to be super careful, but I don't like going back and repainting over stuff, so try to do alright first time through. The flesh that I didn't worry too much about getting on other stuff because it's a light color, it's easy to go over. But now as I'm painting around that flesh, I'm trying to be a little bit more careful, making sure I don't go over that. So, because covering, if I take that black that was on the pants or this orange and get it on that flesh, it's not going to be real easy to cover up. The washes do hide a lot of stuff though. And again, as I said, my goal at the end of the day is to put this on a table and take a step back, so you don't have to do a whole lot of work to make that look decent for that level of painting. And again, not everybody is okay with that low level. Some people really want the stuff to pop, be able to pick it up, put it under a magnifying glass, and decide that is the best model I've ever seen. Me, I could spend a lot of time on it and it still wouldn't be that. So I'm not gonna dwell too much on that. I'm pretty close to done with this shirt. I gotta paint his hair and do a little work on the skin. So what I did on these others that I'd painted with the skin, I actually used a little red wash to put just some blood highlights, and so it's ball red. It's an old color. I'm sure there's some equivalent now, but I have this, so I'm going to use it. I do like Games Workshop's paints. They cover well. I had some issues with them for a while with their pots being not so swell. You'd open the pot and 2 days later it seemed like the paint would be dried out, but the newer paints don't seem to have quite that same issue. So here I'm just highlighting or washing over the tears in the clothes so that you could see some red. I will probably add some blood effect later, a little bit more, but I like this so it puts a little bit underneath the final wash that I'm going to do over the whole model. I did a Agrex Earth Shade wash over everything. And I don't go over all their skin with this red, but I figure if the clothes are torn, something happened there, so that can be bloody. And then with the skin, any place that looks like the flesh has been bitten or torn, I kind of add a little bit of the red, the eyes, the mouth. Obviously he's been eaten. I don't know why I do it in the eyes. I just think that those should be a little bit. And then add some on the hands because he was probably digging around in somebody. And this, you can get a lot, you can get a little. It's really up to you what you want to do. I'm going to cover the whole model with Agrex Earthshade. So I want to get enough color on here that the Agrex won't completely hide it. But depending on how heavy of that you put on the Agrex, you can have a little bit of different options there. So that's where he's at. I hope that I'm in the screen for as I paint this. Let me add a little bit more. Alright, I'll let that dry up a little bit while I do his hair. I think I'll do a brown hair. Brown's easy. Pick a color of brown, and then the wash with the Agrex makes it look right. So I will do, yeah, I'll do this tan that's already on here. Again, I'm not going to do multiple layers. This is just a one go with the one layer of the brown. And the wash will make it look good. Washes have done amazing things to make me a better painter. I do dry brush and do some highlighting on some stuff, but just basic models, there's no real reason to do it. Well, I say that. Lots of people think there's reasons to do it, and that's fine. This is a little bit dry. I think I gotta get some more. I think I need some more water on my wet palette. That was a color I was using earlier though, so it has been sitting in it for a while. With this Walking Dead game, seems it's really a kind of board game-esque, but it's also a miniatures game. So it's kind of trying to be the best of both worlds, I think. If you're a fan of The Walking Dead, you might like it. And if you're a fan of miniature games, it might be something to check out. The mechanics seem pretty simple. But there's enough depth that I don't think it'll be boring. I have seen some people not so impressed with it, saying it's just a tedious game, but that is one guy's opinion, and then I've played plenty of games that others thought were bad, or I've played plenty of games that others thought were awesome that either I liked or didn't like. So try it out for yourself before you judge, and you'll might find a game that you really like. Alright, so there is the guy in all his glory. Let's see if I can get him in the camera. He's nothing special, just basic paint job. I think at the end of the day I'm gonna do the bases with just gray, maybe make it look like he's on a street, kind of give him a theme. And then I think I'll do all the walkers that way, and then I'll do the heroes with a different kind of basing, so they're easier to pick out who's who on the table. So the walkers will be just gray pavement with maybe a yellow or white paint on it to break it up a little bit. And then the heroes might be flocked with grass to give them a different appearance. I missed a little bit of area on the shirt under his arm here, so I'm touching that up here. Alright, so he's pretty much done. I think I am just going to leave his pants. No, they're black, so they really need some kind of highlight. So got this basalt gray kind of a dark gray. I'm not going to do a lot here. I'm just going to do a couple little highlights on his pants. So that needs to be mixed a lot more. Alrighty. There we go. So do the highlight. I'm just going to get a little bit on my brush and go over the high spots of his pants. And again, I want this to look good on a table when I'm standing looking at my whole game with all the terrain on the board and all the other models on the board. So I'm not super worried what it looks like super up close. So highlighting, just kind of going over the raised parts, and these are actually sculpted really well. There's really good defined raised parts. Some models aren't done quite so well, so it's hard to figure out where the highlight should go. But these are pretty nice. And if you don't know what highlights, just think of, as you look at something, what is the light reflected on top of. It's kind of the points that stick out, really, and that's what I'm adding a little bit of highlight here too. It's got a couple pockets here that are kind of under the shirt, the seam of the jeans back here. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Again, nothing special. Not gonna win any painting competitions here, but makes the game look better on a table when your models have got some paint on them. And since this is a war game, I really want to have painted stuff. I'm one of those guys that likes my models painted. I don't do a whole lot of gaming without stuff being painted. But so there's that. Looks like the red is all dry. So now I can go over the model with my Agrax Earthshade, and we'll see how it looks when he's done. So I'm not going to water this Agrax down at all. I'm just going to go with it as it is. Putting it on his shoes. So obviously I'm kind of hitting the base, so I'll have to touch up these bases if I want them to be gray. And I actually think I'll probably make them quite a bit darker gray, just because. And I'm gonna go over the gray that I just put on his pants, dirty that up a little bit. You can put a lot on, but it'll pool sometimes, so you got to be careful that it doesn't pool up someplace that's kind of weird, and just put a big blob of, like you can see under his arm, there's a big blob there. Just make sure you pick that up, take your brush, pull it back out of those areas. You know, and these are all dead guys walking around, so they're not worried about keeping clean. I like the grungy look that this will give the model. Makes them look dirty, like they've been crawling around for a while, eating whatever it is they eat. You see, it's really pulled up around the neck, so I need to pull that out a little bit. Never hurts to have a paper towel, something nearby, so you can wipe off some of that color. The hair. So you can see, maybe you can see, the red still shows through. But it's I don't know. I think it looks pretty decent. We'll let it dry and see if I need to touch anything up, but probably not. I think it'd probably be good here as it is. And that is a walker for The Walking Dead All Out War. Thanks for watching.